Go. Silence.
Hail
Satan.
As we've been hearing so far, at least earlier, this idea of death being so prevalent this time, it made me think to talk about actually some of the themes, one of the basic themes of all the mystery schools and secret societies. That is the cycle of birth, death, rebirth. They teach it all. And of course they mean it as incarnation, but they also mean it to teach us a lesson while we're still here in the physical body. Okay? Because they all expect us to be able to look at nature and look at the cycles of nature and the way nature is, and realize since us as physical beings in this physical world, we have the same cycles that nature does. Okay? And a lot of secret societies and mystery schools will even tell you that they believed a person couldn't be spiritually alive if they didn't have at least a basic knowledge of themselves and nature. That was the two main things that concerned them the most. Okay? And so they take you through initiation to make sure to teach you this stuff, or degrees or grades, depending on what society it is, so that you can get these understandings of nature and about yourself. Okay? And I'm just going to stick with the very basics of it without going into it too much. Is that always that constant cycle? Okay? And of course, initiation, as you know, some of you probably know, people look at it as an internal progress or process, like progressing or a process, and some people call it a traveling inward, which your initiation is about, because it all starts internal initiation. Okay? So the rite itself, one, acknowledges the fact that you can do this or have done this, or two, aids in helping you to do this. Okay? Based on who's officiating, and of course the person themselves is going through that particular initiation. So once again, it's based on you and you internally. You're traveling inward or inward progress, process, whatever it is you want to call it. Okay? And most initiation rites will involve some type of quote-unquote physical death during your experience. They'll use anything from coffins to crosses, coffins, have you go through caves and caverns, have you go through labyrinths. And part of the coffins and the crosses are pretty obvious to show you're dying, you're dead. Now the caves and the labyrinths, some say it was showing your struggles and travels through the material world, while others say it's actually your travels through the underworld, is what they're making you go through and experience while you're still in the physical body. And they want you to go through these, and yeah, basically they're showing what their thought was when you're traveling through here, that when you die, you're no wiser being spiritual wisdom, gnosis, you're no wiser when you die than you are when you were alive. So you have to make sure you gain that wisdom and knowledge while you're still alive to utilize it after death. Okay? And one good example of this is, of course, Egyptian mythology that most of you probably know about, the Hall of Ma'at or Hall of Judgment, the idea where your heart gets weighed against Mahat's feather. It's a symbolic representation showing your heart, which is considered the spiritual center of your body, so your spirit's getting weighed against Mahat's feather, which is the feather of truth and balance. And it's showing you, it's weighing your spiritual evolution to see how advanced you are once you die. Okay, that's one of the things they're showing. To most secret societies, mystery schools, the idea of death, birth, death, rebirth is a little different than reincarnation I'm talking here. I'm talking about in the aspect of, to them, your birth was you being born into this place, which they consider ignorance or darkness. Okay, this is the physical world, because your spirit was more important. To them, death was then you're released from this world. Okay, you're now actually alive in their terms. It's no longer you're stuck in this cell or this coffin or this body. Okay, and the rebirth to them was your spirit is now actually awake. It's alive itself. That is your actual true birth. Okay, once you die. Okay, so, and to actually, I got a couple here I'm going to share with you, the little quotes that actually emphasize this, that they were teaching this. And you can look up others, and one was through the Druidic Mysteries. There was a guy named Taliesin, which was a bard, if I remember right, wasn't he? And he went through the Druidic Mysteries, and he actually shared this, he said the few who passed this degree were said to have been born again and instructed in the secret hidden truths. And then through the Nordic mysteries, we have one that's presented, I don't know who wrote it. It says, presented the sacred ring of the order and held a man reborn. That's their acknowledgement of after these initiations, you are born again, but they don't mean physically. It's a spiritual initiation, internal process, progress, traveling in what you did. That's the whole point, is for the spiritual evolution that they're teaching. And a lot of times, some of these would even take you to the point of death, or almost dead. They would, either shamanistic drugs, magic, a combination of both, to even show you what it's like. And they were able to bring you back. The Egyptians are actually famous for this, being able to make people dead and bring them back 3 days later, to show them what it's like to actually be unchained from the physical world. Okay, I think that's about it that I got. The last thing I'm going to share, though, is a little quote that I think all of us here will enjoy, especially since we're part of the mysteries. That this is something Manly P. Hall wrote back in 1920. And of course, I'm sure this was a concept that was known long before he ever wrote it. But for those of us here, I'm going to share this with you. It says, "The time will come when the secret wisdom shall once again be the dominating religious and philosophical urge of the world. The day is at hand when the doom of dogma shall be sounded. The great theological Tower of Babel, with its confusion of tongue, was built on bricks of mud and mortar of slime. Out of the cold ashes of lifeless creeds, however, will rise phoenix-like the ancient mysteries," which is actually what we're all trying to learn. I guess that's all. Thank you. Hail Satan!
Hail Satan!